Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Power Rangers SPD episode Dogged. So this is one of my all-time favorite episodes in Power Rangers history, and SPD is an amazing series from left to right. The production value on SPD was phenomenal. Like the person who created that show, they really went beyond their limitations to the point where they started to upset Disney. Disney being cheap around that time wasn't really getting too much out of their investment, and they really didn't want to fork over that much money for this series. And this series really showed the budget and everything, creating a brand new Doggy Kruger outfit to just all the cool locations. Like excuse me, in the SPD episode, like Catastrophe, man, the headquarters of Galaxy Command looks amazing. The building they found and stuff. But anyways, because like they didn't even want to give a suit actor the role of Sam playing the Omega Ranger. That's why he stayed morphed like the entire time in SPD. They didn't even know what an Omega Ranger was or that he was a new Ranger and stuff. So it got to the point where, Disney started didn't want to fork over no cash. But this episode's really cool. It's a Sid episode. And Sid was a really interesting and cool character. She was played, and who was she played by? She was played by Alicia Perrotte. I believe that's how you say her last name. I'm not really sure. And I remember when I first saw her, I was like, holy crap, who is this woman? Like, she did not look like a Power Ranger type actress. She looked more like a supermodel, and she looks a little like Trish Stratus. I think she's a Canadian actress, and she has some amazing hair. Like, her hair is phenomenal. But I can see those dark roots. There's an old rumor going around that blonde Canadians aren't really blonde, they dye their hair. I don't know about that. I mean, you can't tell me that everybody in Canada who's white don't have blonde hair. They came from Europe just like all the others and stuff. So I don't know all about that. But one of the most interesting things when it came to Sid is that she never felt like she should have been like a Power Ranger. Like when you think of a Power Ranger, you think of a very specific type. You don't think of necessarily her. She's spoiled rotten. She's rich. She looks down on other people and stuff. She has like a little bit of a diva personality and everything where she thinks she can solve everything with money. And so those aren't really the traits you think of a person when becoming that of a Power Ranger and stuff. But she also proves, especially in this episode, that she can have a change of heart. She's very tough, very strong, slightly on the smart side, and she learns to have compassion in her heart. And one of the reasons why so many of the characters in this series have very edgy personalities is because they're not granted with powers like most other Power Rangers. They actually had to work for it. It's a police force of all things, and that's really fascinating. So it's kind of like the whole Time Force thing, because they had really edgy personalities or very fluffy personalities and stuff. But she should be the ultimate Valley girl, and in a way she is. She just doesn't sound like one when she speaks. And so she reminds me a little bit of Kimberly, just like less of the Valley girlness and stuff. But she's a cool character, round and round, and I really come to respect her and stuff. And of course, she's the Pink Ranger, and pink is her favorite color and stuff. But it's just so weird when you watch those first couple of episodes because she doesn't seem like she would want to join the police force or even want to be a Power Ranger and stuff. And the actress, I remember she said in an interview her first day in New Zealand, I think she got mugged and everything. Not that that's funny or nothing, but it's just crazy. The moment she gets from like the airport, like boom, she gets like robbed and everything. But other than that, I think she also said that she always wanted to. It was either her or Miranda. I can't remember which one. They always wanted to drive the Jeep more and everything, and the other one wouldn't really let them and stuff. I think it was her because I don't remember her driving that much and stuff. And so, like, it's crazy. Like SPD, like they have the Lightning Collection line and everything. I'm not sure how her head sculpt is. I don't know if they got it right or they messed it up. But like, yeah, I want to see more interviews with this actress because this show was literally over 20 years ago. It is insane to think about that, but it's crazy. It's been over 20 years and stuff. Like, what the world, man? So I want to see more interviews with her. Like the ladies at Power Rangers Playback, I really hope they'll start bringing in more people from other like Power Ranger seasons and not just those from like the Saban era or the new Hasbro era that's like really current. I want to see more Disney people and stuff. But like this episode is really cool. I really enjoyed the writing of this episode and the message that it sent and stuff like that. It has to do with Rick, their canine dog, which SPD has. I don't know what his task was before all this episode, but like basically he is obsolete. He is outdated. He is rusty. His components are like all messed up and stuff. And it's to the point where he malfunctions. He starts sounding like other animals and everything, which is like weird. And Sydney does not like him at all. Basically, she has like this stuffed animal and he wrecks it. And she doesn't like that. And so she just thinks that he's a useless toaster that like needs to be put down and stuff. And he actually is. Doggy Kruger informs them that, since he's so obsolete, he's about to be scrapped and stuff. Which, Boom and all of them don't want, but she is thrilled at the opportunity that he gets to be put down. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, the monster in this thing, there's one monster that makes like a cameo, and it has the head of Divatox. Not Divatox, but Deviot. Deviot from Lost Galaxy. And I'm just like, I didn't even realize that back when I watched it in the day and stuff. But this was a component, a mashup of different monsters. Deviot's head. I forget the other names of like the monsters and stuff. But it has like a combination of like the body parts and stuff. I think one's Killer Boxer. And and then not sure about the other ones, but I think his name is Parasnippity or something like that. And it's a funny story when it comes to SPD. Now, of course, we all know that they use the helmets of the A Squad from that of like, in space. And Sky's father wore the uniform of an SPD, not SPD, but a Time Force Ranger. And that's because they still had costumes and props and stuff left over from the Saban era when Disney bought them. And apparently this got wind of Saban and he was furious about this. To the point where the In Space Red Ranger said that literally Saban called those people up and had them destroy all the in space like helmets and stuff so they couldn't use them no more. And that is just insane and stuff. And like he literally got that mad, sold the company, got mad that they started using some stuff and like, just like destroyed them. I will say it did mess with continuity in people's head when they saw the red Time Force suit and that it was Sky's father. They assumed Sky's father was Wes, and of course he's not. And so like the in space helmets, that just really threw me for a loop because they had like this weird like sports gear uniform, which was so cheap looking. Poor dude, he did not have a budget to make his own suits. He had to just use whatever they had and use the in-space helmets and redecorated them. And yeah, it was just like, it made me think, wait, is in space like, part of like this unit? Like, is Time Force part of it too? Like, because the Time Force suit, I will agree with Saban on that. That really threw me for a loop. You can kind of give a pass to the in-space helmets, but that whole Time Force thing really made you think that, like, time has now been altered even more since Time Force, and now they use the suits of the Time Force Rangers, and maybe West has something to do with that. So that really threw me for like a loop. But anyways, so like there's a monster and he bought some stuff off Piggy, and he can turn people into goop. And so like, of course, like the Rangers has to investigate this. So Sid goes to investigate, and she's driving, and Rick decided to tag along, which really pissed her off and stuff. And so like when she has to fight this monster alone, I love her morph sequence. I love her fist of iron thing. Basically, she can touch something, absorb it, and her fist will turn into whatever material it is. And I think she used like a brick or something like that. And the monster, like, I think, what is it? Rick jumped in front of her to take the blast. And when he did that, that really touched her, that he would sacrifice his life to save her. So this makes her start coming around to him. And so after the monster got like away and stuff, she heads back to headquarters, and she prevents Rick from being destroyed. And she has Boom and Buttery Toast dude, whatever his name, Bridge, like repair him. And I really like that, because at first she was all thrilled and happy that he wanted to get put down, but now all of a sudden she has a change of heart. And when they repair him, they basically turned him into like a refrigerator. They upgraded his weapons and this and that, but they didn't have time to fix him. So they want Rick to sniff out the rest of this goo. He sends them, which appears to be on a wild goose chase. But Sydney is the only one who believes that, the goop is somewhere there, but they have to dig for it. So she starts digging for it while everybody else leaves. And I really love this, because she's the type of person, when you even see her nails, they are like professionally done. She's the preppy girl, but she's willing to get her hands down and dirty to dig that hole. And she is digging, even to the point where it's raining and mud is everywhere, but she doesn't care. And this really says something about her character. She's this clean, neat, like preppy girl who's spoiled rotten, but to do something like, that's important, she's willing to get down and dirty and everything. And this really changed her for the better. And I love the little expressions that the actress does, like whew and everything like that. Like, I really like this actress a lot. And so, but then there's like a sinkhole and everything. And so she falls down and she finds more of the goop, and she climbs herself out. Like, she's a real tough person. And here of course is like the monster. And so the Rangers just think, oh, Rick is just like goofed up and everything. He's messed up. Maybe he should be scrapped. And so then they get the alert, and it's the monster. So they head out, and Rick is the first one to get there. And so she morphs and everything, and she is whooping on that monster. And I mean, she is whooping on him by herself, to the point where she knocks off his horn on his head. This is how tough this girl is, and she didn't even have to use fist of iron or anything like that. And so Rick shows up, and the rest of the Rangers show up, and they informed her that Rick has a special new ability. He can turn into the canine cannon, which is like their main like assault weapon and stuff. So they use it, they blast him, and Sid gets to like, incarcerate the dude. And it's like really cool. And they didn't have to use no Megazords in this episode or nothing like that, because Sid was strong enough to whoop on that monster on her own. And so this really changed her for the better, and it caused her to like Rick a whole lot more. And actually, we've never seen no interaction between her and Rick no more after this. So I guess it was just like a one and done type thing. Now, Mora shows up in this episode as a kid. And, it's funny. People always rag on Justin for being a kid ranger, but they never, you don't never hear nobody talk about her. This is before the internet was really, well, the internet was starting to become huge at that time. And it really was. But, people didn't really discuss Power Rangers like they do now. So I don't know how people feel about Mora. I like her better than Justin. Justin was written to be annoying. She's written just to be a regular, typical little girl who likes to have a tea party, but she's mean and evil, and she will let you know it. But I did like it better when she grew up and everything, got to fight people and stuff. Also, the older actress, I liked her from when I saw her in Hercules and Xena. Not sure exactly why they got rid of this character as the young person. They brought her back towards the end, back as a young person. It could be she had to go to school probably. That's my most likely guess. Or maybe child labor laws. But I don't know how they are in New Zealand. And so, yeah. And then Emperor Grodd's in this. And I like the character, but now I hate the actor because he got arrested for something disgusting. I mean, disgusting. He was in Samurai as the mentor. And it's just like, dude, what is wrong with you? Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.